back in 1978. This was an old Dairy Queen. It had been sitting here empty for about 2 years.
The first job that I did with Taco Cabana was remodeling the old Dairy Queen on San Pedro and Hildebrand. And the second one was on Wurzbach and Bandera Highway, and that's the one that was painted pink. That was to catch the people's eye. They would say, go down to that pink building and get us a taco.
The concept was to serve Mexican food, be open 24-hour restaurant with a drive-through.
You could have just been open late night. What made you stay open 24 hours?
We always had a philosophy of one that my father taught me, that if there's somebody that wants to give you money, you stay there and take it.
People were really attracted to the freshness, the low prices, the fun, exciting environment that this concept provided in the restaurant industry. During that period, Taco Cabana was really on a roll. It was the highest volume restaurant chain in the country.
It was so rewarding to see the people really enjoyed going to the restaurant. It was like going to the fair. The cars are out on the street lined up to get into the parking lot, and that would go on for 2 or 3 days.
So what do you think the magic was back then? I mean, what made it so special?
The food, and it was easy, portable food. The tacos were something that nobody had really gotten into, where you could go to the drive-thru, get a taco, and eat it while you're driving without creating a mess.
Right.
It was easy. Food is the key.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how pretty the restaurant is, doesn't matter how great the service is. If the food's no good, nobody's going to come. And it was the food that brought the people.
To me, when I think about Taco Cabana, I think of Connie. I'm sure when Connie thinks about it, she thinks about Felix. Whenever someone asks me about, well, what's Taco Cabana? And I just think about everything that Connie's done in the past. I mean, Connie wrote the recipes, everything that I've done and mistakes I've made, while working here in the kitchen. Not that they were the wrong way to do things, but it's not how she set it up. So she's kind of helped me grow, following the right recipes, procedures. It's kind of just like a little wealth of knowledge. It's sitting right here. The history of Taco Cabana is Connie.
The recipes, it was very simple. There was homemade recipes, fresh food. People liked them, That's why we have all the business that we have in those years.
And what was on that original menu when you guys first started?
Tacos and enchiladas. The fajitas we hadn't brought in yet. That was one of my suggestions to do that. A group of us used to get together one night every weekend, and ex-mayor of San Antonio, Howard Peak, would bring over these skirt steak. And he was buying at HEB for 40 cents a pound, and we'd marinate it overnight in buttermilk and cook it on the barbecue pit and put a squeeze of lemon on it and some onion, and it turned out to be just really good for a lousy piece of meat. It was really tender and tasted good. One day we were sitting at the office over there trying to think up new ideas, and I said, well, Felix, let's try this and see what happens. And then I said, we need to make it a show. And so we thought about it. My father said, what if we put them on a steel plate and poured au jus on them where they smoke? And when somebody picks them up, you walk through the crowd and you got this smoking pile of meat going through the crowd. And that's where it started.
We don't have the pleasure of really knowing Felix. And what should we know about Felix Stehling, the man? Even beyond just being the creator of Taco Cabana. What kind of guy was he?
Generous. Very, very generous. It didn't matter whether you were the busboy, it didn't matter whether you were the manager. He treated everybody the same, and that's why people liked working for him.
We were friends and family, like a family. We see each other, and he was a very nice boss, and it was a good man. He always be proud of us and the company that he started.
Felix was a generation ahead and an inspiration ahead. But what I always remembered about Felix then and ever after was that he almost always had an apron on and a cigarette in his hand, or he would stick a lit cigarette behind his ear. And I always wondered, how in the world can you do that and not burn yourself to death? There wasn't anyone that didn't say kind words, and what a remarkably generous man that he was. And creative, hardworking.
We always said that Felix was HW, the hard worker. He's one of the best men that I ever worked for, and he treated everybody equal.
curious to see if you had any wisdom or any advice or anything you'd like to share with the company.
Everybody has to eat. The customers are out there. Your job is to make good food and a good atmosphere that they want to go to. If you can do that, you're going to win. It worked. It's still working. It's still working 35 years later. So something is going on right. And just take pride in your job.
Over the course of 35 years, growing from that one little stand in San Antonio to 160 plus restaurants, it's been an incredible journey. It's exciting to now be a part of this brand that I've always watched first as a guest, as a customer, and then as a professional in the business. And now to be a part of it, you really feel a sense of honor that you get to help carry that torch forward and try to take this thing to the next level. And that sense of honor turns into pride and a sense of obligation to continue what Felix started, continue that family's vision, and make sure during our time we leave it in a better place than how we found it.